Good lad.
Welcome back. The U.S. Senate's Republican leader, Mitch McConnell, says the U.S. President Donald Trump's impeachment is the most rushed, least thorough, and most unfair in history. On Wednesday, the House voted to impeach Donald Trump on the charges that he abused his power and obstructed Congress in his dealings with Ukraine. Let's head off to our London studios now, where Simon Pusey has more on Around the World in 5.
Good evening from the Channel studio here in London. The US President Donald Trump has become the third president to be impeached after a vote in the House of Representatives. The House voted on 2 charges: that the president had abused his power and that he had obstructed Congress. Nearly all Democrats voted for the charges and every Republican against. President Trump's Republicans control the Senate, so it is highly unlikely he will be removed from power. Democrats are already unhappy at the way the trial could be held. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has now indicated it might delay sending the articles of impeachment to the Senate in order to bargain on the terms of the proceedings. This could put off the trial for an indefinite period, denying Mr. Trump his expected acquittal. As so often with President Trump, reaction to his impeachment has been divided between those who oppose him and his supporters.
I don't agree with it at all. You know, hey, work with a guy, get things done. This bickering back and forth and playing these little childish games we're better than that.
The President of the United States is being impeached, and that is the right thing to do, because we have got to never forget that no individual in this country, certainly not the President of the United States, is above the law, is above the Constitution. So I support what the House did.
Indian police have detained thousands of people who defied a ban on protests against a controversial new citizenship law. The ban has been imposed in parts of the capital Delhi and throughout the states of Uttar Pradesh and Karnataka. Mobile data services are suspended in some parts of Delhi close to protest sites. There have been days of demonstrations across India, some violent. The new law offers citizenship to non-Muslim illegal immigrants from Pakistan, Bangladesh and Afghanistan. A Philippine court has found top members of a political clan guilty of masterminding a 2009 massacre of 57 people, among them 32 journalists in the country's worst single instance of election violence.
The prosecution having established the guilt beyond reasonable doubt.
Members of 3 generations of the influential Ampatuan family were among those sentenced to life imprisonment on multiple counts of murder in a complicated verdict involving more than 100 defendants. Over 28 people received the maximum penalty of life imprisonment, 15 sentenced 6 to 10 years and 8 months, 56 acquitted and 7 dismissed. The trial has been a crucial test of impunity in a country where provincial power is often decided by corruption, intimidation and violence. 2 barrel bombs were seen dropping on a town in the rebel-held northwestern Syria on Thursday, killing at least 1 person. That's according to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights. Video released on the internet by the civil defense group known as the White Helmets purportedly showed some of its members taking cover as the bombs explode over the town of Tel Mardik. On Tuesday, witnesses and rescuers said Syrian government and Russian airstrikes killed at least 17 people in the Idlib region, in a spike in casualties from relentless daily strikes in recent months. Brexit and the NHS have dominated the Conservative government's agenda set out in the Queen's speech. The government's priority is the UK's exit from the EU on the 31st of January and a commitment that extra NHS funding will be enshrined in law. Of the more than 30 bills announced in the Queen's speech, 7 were on Brexit. It comes as the government says it will close its department for exiting the European Union on the 31st of January. Reacting to the government's plans, Labour said the government would be judged on how far it made up for years of underfunding of the NHS, and so far its proposals fell short of what was needed to deal with rising waiting times and staff vacancies.
My government's priority is to deliver the United Kingdom's departure from the European Union on the 31st of January. My ministers will bring forward legislation to ensure the United Kingdom's exit on that date.
And finally, Australia endured its hottest ever day on Tuesday, but that record was smashed again on Wednesday, which saw an average maximum of 41.9 Celsius. Tuesday's 40.9 had eclipsed the previous record of 40.3 set in 2013. A state of emergency has been declared in New South Wales in Australia amid fears a record-breaking heatwave will exacerbate the state's bushfire crisis. And that's your international news around the world in 5.
Thanks a lot, Simon. Let's take a look at some sports news now. Here's Ayotunde Balogun.
Many thanks, Ijoma. President of the Nigeria Wrestling Federation, Mr. Daniel Igali, is confident that following the successes achieved by Nigeria's wrestlers in 2019, the sport will produce at least a medal at the 2020 Olympic Games in Tokyo. Mr. Igali, who won gold in wrestling for Canada at the Sydney 2000 Games, told Channels Television in Lagos that the country's wrestlers won medals in almost all international competitions they participated in during the year.
2019 has been an outstanding year. With the amount of funding we have, going to the African Championships, winning 6 gold medals, Africa Games, winning 7 gold medals, going to 3 Grand Prix tournaments, winning 2 gold medals at the international level, going to the World Championships and winning a bronze medal, the 3rd medal in 4 years, going to the World Beach Games and winning a gold and silver medal, getting our first world champion in wrestling was without a doubt one of the highlights of the year for me, and I am so excited about 2020.
The Super Eagles of Nigeria will end the year 2019 at number 31 in the latest FIFA World Ranking released today by the World Football Governing Body FIFA. The Super Eagles will also end the year as the 3rd-ranked team on the African continent. The Teranga Lions of Senegal rounded off the year as Africa's highest-ranked team. In the Nigeria Professional Football League, Sunshine Stars of Akure and MFM-FC of Lagos this evening settled for a 1-0 draw in match day 9 played at the Akure Township Stadium. Israel Abia's gave the host the lead on the 63rd minute of the second half, while Najima Adeyinka leveled the score on the dot of regulation time. A Greek star, Stefanos Tsitsipas, have advanced to the next round of the Mubadala World Tennis Championship in convincing fashion. The 21-year-old Greek, who won the ATP finals in London last month, proved too strong for Andrei Rublev, who never really got going in the match. Tsitsipas won the game 6-3, 6-4, and now goes on to face the event title holder Novak Djokovic on Friday. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. That's it in sports news. Ijoma, back to you.
Thanks, Ayotunde. And the main news again. A former Attorney General of the Federation, Muhammad Adoke, was today taken into custody by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission shortly after arriving in the country, following his release by authorities in the United Arab Emirates. Also today, the federal government vowed to prosecute 22 former governors and other public officials accused of corruption to a logical conclusion. The Minister of Justice confirmed that the federal government has so far won over 1,636 corruption cases. And US President Donald Trump was today impeached after a vote in the House of Representatives described by the Senate Republican leader as a partisan rage. And that's the news at 10 tonight. Thanks so much for staying with us. I'm Ijoma Onyato. Do have a good night.